Finding great roads in quiet places, the video cars, is not easy, but there's one of those great roads right over there, the Apache Trail, just outside of Apache Junction, Arizona. And Tommy, my son, and I just took our Mini Cooper to the dealership, and they gave us this, a brand spanking new Mini Cooper S. So we thought, you know what? Let's take it for a ride to Tortilla Flats and just see how well this handles one of the beautiful and one of the best roads in Arizona. You are a bit of a Mini fanboy.
Oh, for sure.
So when Tommy talks about these cars, like the one that we just took to the dealership for routine maintenance, is the R52, right?
Yes, the R52, and this is the F56.
Yeah, so for all you Mini aficionados, you can tell that this man is not exactly neutral when it comes to Mini ownership or Mini reviews, so we want to get that out there right away. I, on the other hand, I'm fairly neutral about Minis, and this is probably the third or fourth time I've driven this particular Mini, but I gotta tell you, this is the one that probably best contains the DNA of the brand, right?
Yeah, the two-door hardtop, for sure.
Yeah, with the S, which gives you the turbocharged 4-cylinder.
Yep, 2 liters.
Yep, and I think what's important is the one that we just got out of, that's the last one that was supercharged, the 2008 Cooper S.
Yes.
And then, BMW decided the turbos were the way to go. They got rid of the supercharger, and they also got rid of a little bit of that go-kart-like feel and handling, because this, to me, feels a lot more mature, a lot more grown up.
I think that's very fair to say. The early R50, R53, R52 models, they were really tight, very small. The suspension, some people call them very hard, but I call them very sporty. I love that little supercharger whine. But it is important to note that even though this Mini has definitely grown up, so has the power. So that Mini back then made 168 horsepower.
Yeah, we got the numbers, we wrote them down here.
And today, this Mini makes 189.
Yeah, and the other cool thing about this Mini is not only does it make 189, but it's got this overboost feature, so when you floor it like this, you actually get 15 more torques.
14 more torques.
All right, 14. See, he's a fanboy. 14 more torques to give you that feeling of acceleration. And that's really cool. That's one of the things I really love about this. And of course, that's right out of BMW's playbook, because this engine is shared with actually a front-wheel drive BMW that we don't get yet in the United States.
Yeah, the 225 Active Tourer.
Yeah, front-wheel drive. That's a whole different thing. Let's not go there. But in a Mini, it really works well. It's fast, it's lively, it's certainly fun to drive. And the question is, has Mini lost kind of that essence of what the original Mini was, right? The cool factor, the go-kart-like handling, the tininess. And I would say out of those 3 criteria that make a Mini, the one that it has certainly lost is that small demeanor, right? The original Minis were these little funky things that the Rolling Stones loved, right? They were all personality and really clever packaging, and this one has become more mature.
Well, I think the one thing that you really missed about the original Mini was it was also very cheap.
Yeah.
These Minis are no longer cheap. So this Cooper S starts at just under $25,000. And in my opinion, you get a lot of car for that, but 25, you're not going to find one.
This is sort of a base model Cooper S, and I think this is exactly the one you want, except for the fact that I'd of course go with the manual and not this automatic transmission. But otherwise, I think this is exactly what you want. That one is almost a little too razor sharp. It's really for the Mini aficionado who wants to go and spend a day at the track, and it kind of beats you up. This one, not so much.
Well, I think the interesting thing is the John Cooper Works JCW Cooper S hardtop has 39 more horsepower than this.
Yep.
That's a lot of horsepower. But from the seat of the pants, this thing really hauls.
Yes.
I mean, it is a properly quick little car.
It is. It is very fast. It is no longer like the 2008, which just feels fast, right?
No, well,
this one is fast.
Yeah, I think, and that's the really big difference between our older 2008 and this one. there's a big sense of speed in that 08, the R52. Whoa, getting a little twisty here.
Yeah,
but this thing actually is a properly fast car.
Look at that. Look at it just holding on this road. And there's that front-wheel drive. And you know, on these twisty roads, actually front-wheel drive.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. Well, a little too fast. This turn overcooked it. But I gotta tell you, these run-flat tires are a little bit on the rough side. I think if you compare them to regular tires, you'd probably be better off. But Mini wants to package this car for optimal room, and so run flats are a way you can do that. But they are a little bit rough.
Well, the interesting thing is this car also has the smallest wheels available on a Cooper S. So imagine what these be like with the larger wheels.
Yeah, I like these black painted wheels.
They are cool. They do look really great.
And I call this yellow. I think Mini calls this orange. But
lava orange, I believe.
Yeah, but it's a really fun color for this car. Now, right now, I don't have it in sport mode, but you know what? All right, there are 3 modes you could put this in, right? There's economy mode, there's mid mode, basic mode, and then there's sport mode, and you change it by flopping that over there. And what it does is it does 3 things. It changes the mapping for the throttle.
Yep.
If you have the suspension dampers that are adjustable, it changes that.
Yep.
And it changes the weight of the steering wheel.
Yep, it does.
And you know, you can tell the difference, sort of, kind of, but Minis are really about having the wheels at the corners and having a lively engine. And I'm not sure all of this stuff, right, does a heck of a lot for me personally.
I think it does, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially the steering. So this is the first Mini, Cooper at least, that comes equipped with electric steering.
Yeah.
The one we have has hydraulic. The R56s were hydraulic as well. And when you stick it into sport mode, the steering really weights up. It doesn't become as communicative as our R52 steering, in my opinion, but it does have good weight to it nonetheless.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, I think even the best electric steering is nowhere near as good as the best hydraulic steering. So I think that this gives you fuel economy. This gives you weight savings. But if you really want great road feel, you got to go back a generation of cars. Unfortunately, electric steering has become the thing, and you can simulate that road feel, but you can never quite capture it. So what do you think of the size of this? That's one of the things we talked about. I think it's become a maxi Mini.
But if you look at all the new cars that are coming out that are getting bigger and bigger,
yeah,
you know, we parked it next to a older RAV4, and it still looks small. It's no longer the size. Well, let's not even talk about the original Mini, and even compared to the old early 2000s Minis, it is large, but it's still a small car, and it feels larger on the highway, which is very important.
Yeah, you know, in the land of pickup trucks and SUVs, you do feel much safer in this, because even though it has gotten bigger, it's still, compared to most of the vehicles on American roads, it's still a pretty big car. Let's face it, I mean, we don't have, for the most part, the tight European cities where cars that are little teeny tiny really thrive, right? We have big open lands and big highways.
Well, and the other thing is, the extra size gives you a lot of legroom and headroom as well. I'm just under six feet, and when I extend my seat all the way back in the driver's seat, I can't even reach the pedals. And the headroom is very adequate. We don't have the panoramic sunroof option, which is a very expensive option. We also don't have there's 3 different transmissions available for the Cooper S and the F56. There's the manual transmission, which is the one I go for. There's a regular automatic, which is a 6-speed, this one. Pretty good, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you know, I like the way that it kind of rip shifts. It's not bad, especially when you put it into sport mode. Now, I was talking to the Mini guys. They said that they're... Well, let me ask you this, Tommy. What do you think is their best-selling models?
Definitely the Countryman.
Yeah.
And probably the Cooper 4-door.
That's right, yep. That accounts for the majority of their vehicles. So it's not this one, but the 4-door one, and of course the Countryman. So people in America, while they love Minis, they love the practicality of having 4 doors, and if you're a Countryman fan, all-wheel drive, and of course a hatchback.
Well, with the new Clubman coming out, the extra size, the extra room of that model should make it a big seller. From a performance standpoint, I think this is definitely the one to go for.
Oh, this thing is just so much fun in these twisties when you can let it run a little bit. It sticks like glue. It telegraphs what the road is doing to a large extent, because it's got such a short little wheelbase. You just feel like you're the king of the road here. And I love the fact that this Mini has confidence-inspiring brakes, right? That's another part of the package that's really impressive. Yeah, and listen to that engine. Of course, that's being to some extent amplified by the car stereo system, so it is being brought and tune into the thing via the radio. Look at that. Oh, yes. Back end came around. That's the other thing I love about this car. You know, it's got the old handbrake turn, right? It's got the old handbrake, so you can just use this handbrake to bring the back end around if we were doing kind of traditional
mini rally driving.
And there's another car. But yeah, that was really fun. And that's where this car comes alive, Tommy. You know that?
Yep.
It just becomes such a hoot. And it just puts such a huge smile on my face. Thick steering wheel, responsive engine, tight chassis, grippy tires. What more could you want? What's our MPG? Can you check? Can you see what we're getting?
So even driving it like a bit of a hoon, we've been getting 28.4.
Yeah, that's really good. And I know, you know, gas being at $2 a gallon, people don't really care. But nevertheless, for an engine that's putting out almost 200 horsepower and, you know, providing what I would call a sincerely fast car, almost 30 mpg to the gallon is really good. So tell me, here's a $100,000 question for you, right? You know what's coming. Given the choice of this Mini or our old convertible, so it's a little bit apples to oranges, R52 with the supercharger, which one would you go for? Oh, he's struggling with it. I would have sworn you would have said the old convertible, because that was a car that you got to drive.
You know, I think it still is
formative years.
It still is the old convertible.
Yeah. Why?
Well, I just can't get over that supercharger whine.
But this has that cool blow-off kind of wastegate that you go.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Also, I like the styling just a little bit more.
And it is small.
On the R52. It is small. It's a little bit smaller. We'll say that the reliability of the old first-gen Minis was a little iffy at best. And
it's been in the shop a lot.
It's been in the shop. It's had more than its fair share of oil changes and top changes.
Yes.
And the list goes on and on. But this car definitely feels like it's been screwed together better.
As always, this is Roman and my sidekick,
Tommy,
saying thanks for watching. And don't forget to check out tflcar.com for more news, views,
and real-world reviews.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet the brand spanking new 2016 Mini Clubman. The Clubby, if you will. And because you asked for it, we've got something very special indeed. We are going to drive this, the base version, not the all-out fancy pants, all options in version. And that is coming up right now on the Fast Lane Car.
Yeah, the longest and widest Mini ever.
Yeah, you've gone up from subcompact to compact, right?
That's right.
So let me put it in perspective. In case you guys are curious what size this is, it would compete with cars like the RAV4 in terms of size, not in terms of segment.
Yeah, and the interesting
HRV.
thing, yeah, just to put it in perspective, size-wise, though, you know, for some people who wonder if it's still a Mini, it's roughly the size of the Volkswagen Golf. It's within 0.8 inches of a Volkswagen Golf. So that, I think, just puts it in perspective for people in terms of just the size of it, even though we say it's the longest and widest Mini ever.